Hey everyone, welcome to Your First Digital Product, a show that helps maxed out service providers create their first digital product so they can gain an additional income stream, grow their impact without increasing one-on-one work, and experience more time freedom. On the show, I talk to business owners who have launched digital products and dig deep into how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. I'm your host, Renee Morozowicz. Let's go. Hey everyone, today I'm here with Sara Dunn, and Sara is a wedding SEO specialist for wedding planners, photographers, venues, and other wedding professionals who want their websites to rank higher on Google. Hey Sara, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Renee. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about your products and all the things and everything. So, why don't you give us a little background on you?
Well, I am happy to.
Yeah.
You and I met through WordPress many years ago.
Mm,
So, my original work and business was in WordPress web development. And in 2017, I actually started doing more SEO work. I decided that I wanted to focus on SEO, and I had a really special wedding industry client who got me in the door working with wedding planners, photographers, venues, florists, those kind of businesses that serve engaged couples on their wedding day. And I just discovered that this was a market that didn't have very good SEO help. And
mm.
so since 2017, I have had my focus niche business called Sara Does SEO, where I help wedding businesses show up on Google. And now that is my full focus all the time is wedding SEO work.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I follow you on Instagram, and I see you doing all the things and going to all the conferences, and, you're doing amazing, so that's very cool, and I know you have a product now, but let's take a quick step back because your first product is not the product you have out now, so tell us about your first product and what it was and who it served and all that good stuff.
Well, it's so fun that you're asking these questions because I've never talked about my very first digital
Ooh,
product
I like it.
before. And I really started thinking about it more in preparation for this conversation. Okay, what was my very first one that
Mhm.
I did? Why did I do it? What happened? So I figured out that the very first thing that I ever put online for sale as a passive income digital product was my wedding blog SEO step by step guide.
Okay.
So basically, this was a PDF that taught my process for how I did a blog that's a really specific type of blog that works really well to help wedding professionals get found on Google. And I was like, this is a process people need. I'm going to write it all down, have it designed as a really nice PDF. And I'm sure it's something that people would want to buy if maybe they didn't want to hire me directly for services or they wanted to try a piece of this themselves. I feel like this is the right thing that they should buy instead.
Mhm.
So it was my wedding blogging guide.
Nice. Okay, so you just walk them through the process. So the PDF, they get the PDF. It's like a workbook. Are they filling in? There's like questions that they're filling in, and like
Not
how did it work?
exactly.
Okay.
It was really more of like instructions.
Okay.
So it was a written PDF of instructions. And I think there were like maybe 5 major steps in the process. I actually recorded a few Loom videos as
Mhm.
part of it too. And so within the PDF, people could click a button to watch me do the
Oh, nice.
step. So it was kind of like a PDF download, but also it had elements of online mini training
Okay.
because what I was trying to do was actually teach a process. Like
Okay.
most wedding pros, when they do a real wedding, they generally write a blog post about that wedding on their blog. So, Bob and Pat got married, and this is what happened. Here's where they got ready. This is what their ceremony looked like. This is where the reception was. Here are some details about the decor and the florals and what was important. And if you would like a wedding like this, you should hire me as your planner or your photographer
Mhm.
or come to our venue. So that's the purpose of this kind of blog post. But there's a really specific way to optimize a piece of content like that if you want it to get found on Google. And I had kind of developed a process that I followed every single time that worked really well for my clients. So I was trying to empower people with process. If they were going to spend time creating content anyway, I wanted them to create it the right way so that it was
Mhm.
actually going to get them results and bring them traffic and not waste time. So when
Right.
I looked at like the problem and the overall market problem, what I saw was wedding professionals were wasting time writing these big blog posts in a way that Google was not going to like them. They weren't
Mhm.
optimized for a keyword that people would actually be searching for. And so looking from the outside, I was like, I want to save them. I want to
Mhm.
tell them the process that I've found that actually works so that they can do this instead every single time they're going to spend the time to create content like that. And
Right.
that was kind of the reason I created it and my hope for it.
Mhm. So then what happened with it? Like, what? Yeah, tell us.
I think it's really easy as a digital product creator to think that you put something on your website and you write a description of it and you tell people how it will help them and that people will just go to your website and buy it.
Yeah. That's exactly what everybody thinks.
Like it's there and people are visiting my website. So
Yes.
obviously while
Mhm.
they're there, they're going to check
Mhm.
out and they're going to
Yeah.
buy this thing and take it home with them.
Yeah.
And I found that without more active marketing of the product, there really wasn't a lot of excitement about it. It
Mhm.
was like people came to my website for advice or they were looking for services, but no one necessarily came to my website looking to buy a PDF of a mini training.
Mhm.
Um, so I think I sold maybe like 3 or 4 of them
Mhm.
over 6 months. So, I mean, it was not flying off the shelves. It was
Mhm.
still exciting mailbox money. I was selling it for
Yes.
around $100.
Yes. Makes
Yeah. And I mean, when those 4 email
Mhm.
notifications came in, I was like, this is awesome.
Yes.
Um, of course, like one of the people who bought it was a friend of mine who I helped out for free. And
Yes.
she was like, this is a great guide. I should really buy it. And so she went and bought
Mhm.
it. So it wasn't even like cold traffic, as in
Yes.
people who
Mhm.
come to your website and don't even know who you are and then go through the process of buying something. Most of the time, people knew me for some reason and decided to pick up the blogging guide because of our relationship and
Mhm.
connection. So
Yeah.
it certainly didn't sell like I hoped it would.
Why do you think? Like, was it that, like, they didn't identify the problem? Like, or what they were saying, like, "Well, I'm writing blog posts, so I'm good." Like, and you were saying, "You're writing blog posts, but they're not the right way." But they didn't recognize that as a problem? Like, do you think that that has
Oh,
something to do
yeah.
with it?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with this first digital product was it wasn't anything anyone was asking me for.
Mhm.
It was like, "Here, I wanna save you. I think you need this."
Mhm.
But it wasn't something where there was audience interest, where people
Mhm.
were like, "Please teach me how to blog." It was just like, "I am so tired of seeing you all blog wrong, so let me try to fix this for you."
Yes. Okay.
And so I created a product that I think that people weren't even very interested in
Mhm.
because I created it for my own purposes,
Mhm.
not because it was a need that they identified in themselves.
Mhm.
I think the other thing was that the sales page for it wasn't very compelling. It was very much features driven.
Mhm.
So, it was a couple sentences about like if you want to blog to get found on Google, you need to do it right. And like that was about it. And then
Mhm.
it was like, I'll teach you A, B, C, D, and E. And I've since learned a lot more about sales page copy in the way that a sales page needs to be written to really identify the problem first and make sure that people understand that problem and see if they identify with that problem
Mhm.
before you then move forward with showing them that you have the solution.
Right.
And I didn't have those skills necessarily to write a sales page that really guided the right person toward the purchase. It was just like, of course, you want to buy this. It's great. Here's a little bit about it and the checkout button. And I
Yes.
think that the information was not juicy enough. It
Mhm.
wasn't interesting enough. And again, it wasn't necessarily a problem that people identified that they needed to solve and were actively looking for a solution.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. When people come to the site, you really just have seconds, just to kind of capture them right away. So if it doesn't do that right away, they're not going to read the whole thing and then decide not to buy it. They're just not going to read it at all. So I think that you really just have to capture people. Yeah, and the sales page thing is it's its own thing altogether. So creating the product, but then, yeah, creating that compelling the sales page and then any marketing that surrounds your product, I think is, can make or break the product.
I agree. You gotta make it enticing, something people
Yes. Mhm.
understand why they need it.
Mhm. And understand quickly, yeah, why they need it, like, right away. Yeah, that makes sense. So what happened with it? You still have it? Do you use it? You just kinda moved away from it? So tell us then from there, what happened?
So the product's actually still on my website,
Mhm,
though I definitely decreased the prominence of what I used to have. I used to have a shop page in my main
mhm,
menu. It literally had 2 products in it, so it's not necessarily
mhm,
a shop. So I've kind of moved away from actively marketing it, but I've still found a lot of value in having it on my website because I've actually offered it as a free bonus option in a few cases. So I've done things like speak at summits or participate in bundles. And for both of those things, the goal is really to increase your audience and your reach and get people on your email list. And when people organize a summit or a bundle, they're generally looking for the participants to provide something of value, to give the overall bundle more value. So I
mhm,
give a $97 product, you give one, and so do 30 other people, and we all sell it together for 97 and it's a huge value.
mhm.
And then what is the benefit for everyone is when it sells, you actually get the email addresses of people who have downloaded your item. And
Oh, awesome.
so I have really found great value to giving this wedding blog guide for free for some of these bundles. And it's been a great way to grow my email list toward more people that have signed up for full services or my course that I offer. So it's become kind of this nice bonus to have. And that's why it still lives on my site,
Mhm.
is that it's a great way that I can contribute to other things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I love that repurposing, like, maybe the original intent of, like, everybody's just gonna buy it didn't come true, but it's not for naught, like, you can still use it for other things, and, I've heard some people too kind of morph their product into something else or make it part of something else, but yeah, like you said, the bundle or, I like that sort of kind of grouping, like, here's some added value because it's still valuable, it's still a valuable product, it just kind of presented in a different way, I think.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
agree.
awesome. Cool. So is the other product you had on your shop the product that you have on your site now?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that one.
So here's the product that I have now. It's called 1 Hour SEO, and it is a mini training, much more than a PDF. So my old product was more like PDF download. 1 Hour SEO is a 3 video mini training on how a wedding professional can get started with SEO. And what's interesting about this product coming to be was that it actually came out of survey responses. So I did an audience survey. I want to say it was probably like 2019. So end of the year, I just sent out a survey with like 5 basic questions trying to help myself understand my audience better and what they were looking for. So asking things like, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to SEO? Or
Mhm,
what do you find most intimidating? Or how are you marketing your business right now? Just to get some more ideas about where they were. And one of the things that I identified as a theme in the responses, especially to what's your biggest challenge with SEO, is I don't know how to get started.
mhm, okay.
I was like, ooh, okay.
Mhm.
Like, that makes sense, and I can also see how that could happen. You know, you're like, "Hey, I wanna rank higher on Google," and you go to Google and start reading articles, and
Yeah.
there's articles on alt
Yeah.
text, and you're like, "Is that most important?" And then there's an article
Yeah.
on meta descriptions, and you're like, "Is that what I should care about?" And then there's an article about content SEO, and you're like, "Okay, is this the thing?" And
Mhm,
so, from a business owner's perspective, I was like, "That is a big problem, and maybe not one that I would have thought of."
mhm,
But yes, people wanna know, what is their most important first step? What are the fastest wins? Where do they get started? And I was like, I could make a training about that. I know exactly where they should get started. They should
mhm.
optimize their homepage, and they should do that based on actual keyword research. And so came up with 1 Hour SEO. I called it something else to start with. It didn't come out the way that it has ended. It's taken some iteration. But 1 Hour SEO is now my 3 video training about how to get started with SEO. And it's a lot less clear as far as the features, like
Mhm.
what exactly am I teaching, but so much more clear about the benefit. The benefit is you know exactly where to get started with SEO and you can get it finished in an hour or less.
Mhm.
So for the buyer, that's a much more compelling first offer. And it actually addresses a common concern they actually have. So it's not me saying, you all are doing this wrong. Here's how to fix
Mhm.
it. It's them being like, oh, this does totally resonate with the problem I've been having. And it's so much more compelling, I think. And so 1 Hour SEO has been much more successful for me as far as passive income and is definitely the place that I send people first if they want to
Mhm.
learn something to get started.
Right, right. And I think a lot of times, the work that we do, we've been doing it and we do it a lot of times for a lot of people and we're kind of like way over here and we forget that there are people like way back here. I taught a class a couple years ago and it was just a, 4 days, 2 hours per day, how to build a website. And the last class was I just like to introduce like here's a little bit about SEO, a little bit about email marketing, a little bit about analytics. And so I talked for like 15 minutes about SEO, just like maybe the top 3 things. And at the end, one person asked, "What is SEO?" And I was like, "Oh no!" Like I didn't meet them where they were. I started
Yes.
from where I was and maybe a little
Uh-huh.
bit behind. So it's, yeah, definitely taking into account what your audience is asking for. And if they're asking, like that seems like the easiest route. If they're already asking for something like here's what you wanted, or like
Yes.
you have buyers lined up. So was it your email list that you sent that question out to, or
Yeah.
how? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I love an audience survey. It was a business
Mhm.
coach that told me to do it. And it was super valuable. I don't know how I didn't get a ton of responses on the
Mhm.
first one, but each one is so valuable. Even if you only
Mhm.
get 10, you can still identify
Mhm.
commonalities in those responses.
Right.
And so it was a pretty fast survey, and I offered, I think some prizes like Starbucks gift
Oh,
cards,
nice. Mhm.
to a couple people who I think it was 2 Starbucks gift cards
Mhm.
and then just chose random winners. So there was a
Nice.
little bit of something in it for them too.
Yeah. And do you ever post surveys on social media
Yeah.
just as a question, like in your stories or things like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious if that's another avenue. I've heard from some people that you want to be careful where you ask for feedback, just because you're not sure where you're going to get. Like if you can kind of keep it to a more core group, but maybe followers are okay to ask. So do you have to use like the little polls and stuff in Instagram that they could just click on the
Sometimes.
buttons,
Yeah.
or do you? Okay,
Yeah.
like they don't even have to leave the app.
Yeah, that's a super fun strategy if you want like a quick answer to would you be more interested in A or B?
Mm,
Though I think you still have to be a little bit careful about that because
mm.
you know, it's your friends and family members that are probably
Oh,
most
true.
engaged in your social media. So,
Yes.
my parents really like responding to my polls and question
Aw.
stickers, so be
Nice.
sure to pull those out when you're looking for
Nice.
themes.
Yes, excellent point. Yes, very good point. Nice. Okay, so how do you use the 1 hour SEO? So people find you, they learn about you somewhere. They Google and you come up, or a friend tells them or something like that. So then they come to your website, and then what's the path that they take, and what is your intended path that they take, if those are maybe different?
Yeah, so there's 2 primary ways that I've really tried to market 1 Hour SEO. So rather than just put a shop link in the heading of a website, which I totally think can work, just didn't work for me in my
Hmm.
first case, I was like, I need to market this in a more active way so that
Hmm.
people always know if they want to take a first step with me, this is the one.
Hmm.
And so this is actually a product that I've used effectively for a self-liquidating offer for Facebook ads. And for anyone who's never heard of a self-liquidating
Yeah, it's like
offer,
I don't know what any of that is. I hope she tells me.
um, so basically the idea is that you sell a low dollar product directly with a Facebook ad and you sell enough of them to make back your investment in the ads. So
Okay.
essentially you're increasing the size of your audience for $0 because enough
Oh,
people buy your small product immediately.
nice.
So I found in the last year or so, I haven't had as much luck with this. I also haven't put as much effort into
Hmm.
adjusting the messaging on the ads. I'm just trying to run the same ones that worked really well in like
Hmm.
2021,
Yeah.
which is probably not a great strategy. But it did for a while work really well to run ad traffic directly to this page. And the product itself is $37. So
Mhm.
I'm not asking them for, the whole bank. I'm not trying to sell them on a high level service. It's like, hey, if this resonates, you want to get started with SEO, $37 product, and it's great. It's ready to
Mhm.
go. And so a lot of people, cold traffic, would actually buy this product. And then I would get them into my ecosystem, my email list, and some of the other things that I do and offer.
Mhm.
So running Facebook ads directly to this has definitely worked in the past. The other thing that I have done is to really strategically add this to my welcome series. So when someone
Okay.
signs up for my email list, they get a series of emails that introduces them to SEO and what it means. And then occasionally it sells them softly on
Mhm.
possibly signing up for 1 hour SEO.
Mhm.
It's another great way to convert someone from an email subscriber into an actual purchaser and get
Mhm.
them a little bit farther in. So that's been really effective too, making sure to bring it up when people have just met me through my
Mhm.
welcome series.
So for the welcome series, I know you have on your site the a pricing guide. So you don't have pricing on your website, you have it's behind that. Is
Mhm.
that how people are getting on the list, or are people getting on the list in another way, like they just want to get emails from you? Like is there a difference between the two?
So I have 3 different opt-ins
Okay.
that would bring people onto my list. So I have an SEO basics guide, and that's linked in the sidebar of all of my blog posts. I have my welcome and pricing guide. So that is when people are interested in services, they sign up and they receive the guide. And then my series of emails. And then I also have a wedding blog post template. So it
Mhm.
kind of guides them in some questions on how to come up with content for this kind of blog post they write all the time. And
Nice.
I link that in all of my content that's about blogging.
Mhm.
So all 3 of those things
Couple
are
ways.
driving people into the welcome
Mhm.
series. And then the welcome series' job is to convert those people into
Mhm.
1 hour SEO
Mhm.
purchasers.
So that was my next question. So that's the main goal, is for them to take that step, not like work with you or other higher packages that you offer, just to get them to that step.
We have a few different paths that
Okay.
people can take in the
Okay.
welcome series. And I can't take credit for it. I hired a woman named Allie who did an amazing job on this welcome
Nice.
series. But it's the first ask we make of
Mhm.
actually like selling to people is 1 hour SEO. And then if they stay on the list and they keep going through the series, they will also get pitched on my lowest level done for you service.
Okay.
So they'll get introduced to a few things, but when she originally wrote it and created it, its main goal
Mhm.
was to sell 1 hour SEO.
Okay. And then so what happens when they do buy? Then you have some kind of nurturing there to get them to do the next thing, like the
Yes.
second step. Okay.
Yes. And I'm afraid if someone's never done a digital product before, they're going to
No,
listen
it's
to all
okay.
this and be like,
It's
I
too
can't
much.
create a digital
Yeah.
product and like a welcome series for it and run Facebook
Yeah.
ads. So I want anyone who's listening to know
I know.
that like all of this has been developed over
Yes.
like 6 years now of working with this market. And I just add like a little bit of extra something every single year. So just this year, actually, I created an automated sequence that sends to people 30 days after they buy 1 hour SEO that upsells them into my full SEO course. So basically, it's like, you've gotten your feet wet, you've given SEO a try, you've done step 1. Are you ready to take it to the next level?
Mhm.
And then it introduces them to Wedding SEO Bootcamp, which is a higher dollar course, and it gives them a limited time offer to join.
Nice. Yes, I do. Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that, because I'm just like, how does it all work? How does this map out? But yes, for the audience, first product, dialing it back. Yeah, adding these things over time. But I think it is important to think about the path that people are taking. So how
Mhm.
you're getting them in there, so that sort of marketing piece. And then, yeah, you don't have to have it right away, but then what do you want them to do next? So always giving people an option on, do this thing and then you can do this later. guiding people through, because people are just going to bail if you don't give them something. They're just going to drop off because, I think we have decision fatigue. So many decisions. Just tell me what's next. So
Yeah. And then thinking
my
about
thought.
that journey, that buyer's
Yes.
journey toward
Hmm.
working with you, I realized it wasn't come to my website and buy my full process for blogging. That didn't
Hmm.
work. That wasn't a journey that people were interested
Hmm.
in. So now I'm trying to think a little bit more about what do they actually want in each
Hmm.
step of their process. And it's not the same for everyone either.
Hmm.
Maybe we bring them in with 1 hour SEO. Some people are like, okay, I want to keep DIYing this. And other
Hmm.
people are like, okay, now I at least get SEO at a basic
Hmm.
level, and I'd really like you to now do the rest of it for me.
Right. Right.
So it has certainly worked in both ways,
Hmm.
but I've read some sales psychology that it's really helpful to get people to buy something small from you, and then they're more likely to make the next investment.
Hmm.
So that's another reason that a small product or digital product can be really useful. It gets them in the door and gives them that sense of working with you and the quality that you
Hmm.
provide.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. So I just wanted to ask about if you're still doing the lunch and learns. I know you were doing those before, and how those kind of fit into this.
I love Lunch and Learn. So I've been doing monthly SEO Lunch and Learns since 2018.
Wow.
So almost every single month. I've done over 40 Lunch and
Wow.
Learns now. And I don't know if I really think about them as far as like where they fit in this
Mhm.
buyer's journey or strategy, because I've just always wanted to make myself available to people to learn something small and actionable about SEO if they want to, and
Mhm.
also have an opportunity to ask me questions if
Mhm.
they've been hearing some SEO advice they're not sure about, or they just have an SEO question they want to ask. That was kind of the point of Lunch and Learn.
Okay.
Um, it gives people an opportunity every single month to get access to SEO help. So
Mhm.
um, I love them. And one of the things that's special about Lunch and Learn is I don't pitch anything on Lunch
Okay.
and Learn. It is just teaching and question answering. And I think that's kind of a rare offering online
Mhm.
these days. Like if you go to a training or a webinar, there's almost always
Oh,
something that someone's
100%.
going to sell you at the end. And
Yes.
so to actually get to show up
Yes.
for 30 minutes and learn, and then the host is just like, I hope that was awesome and that
Mhm.
you have a great day. And you're like, where's the pitch?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yes. Yes. So do you find a lot of people repeat those, or are you getting new people coming in?
Oh,
Like,
I
do people join your list? Like, kind of like, it's even if you're not pitching them something, like, what happened? How did they get there? And then what do they do with you afterwards?
Well, they do have to join my email list to
Okay.
get access to Lunch and Learn. So they do
Okay.
go through that welcome sequence and they have the opportunity to buy 1 hour SEO
Hmm.
or the SEO fix. So there's definitely benefit to that. But I have tons of people that have come to Lunch and Learn for years and never bought anything, and that's
Hmm.
great. I have past students and clients who still stay connected by coming to Lunch and Learn.
Hmm.
So that's really fun. So it's kind of just like community building, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I love doing Lunch and Learn even without necessarily like a super strong strategy around
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important too. Like, this, I don't think it's all about strategy. I think it's about following the thing that you're interested in. Like, I'm really interested in doing this. I just like to do it. And I think when that happens, you show up, I don't want to say differently, but you show up in a way that's like even more authentic. People can
Mhm.
really see that you're really jazzed about this, and they're like, yeah, okay, this is good. Where, you're interested in the topic, you're glad to be doing the thing you're doing. I think people can really pick up on that. So yeah, I'm a proponent of that. Did
Yeah.
you say the SEO fix?
That's
Is
my
that?
entry
Yeah. Okay.
level
Yep.
done
Okay.
for you service.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Perfect.
yeah, it's the one that gets pitched as part of my welcome series.
Okay.
So, for those people that don't want a DIY, that's the
Mhm.
service they can choose.
Okay, okay. I don't know if we had talked about this at one point, or your audience is, yes, made up of people in the wedding industry, but it can vary greatly from like the florist to the venue. So you have, there's quite a spectrum, I think, of people and maybe what they can afford
Mhm.
to invest. So, you're offering solutions to meet all of those people where they are, whether it's done for you or, showing them how to DIY or things like that.
Yes, definitely. So it's definitely something that's happened over time that I've added different products and services at different price points. So I started as just doing high level done for you SEO services. And then I discovered that some people didn't want to pay for it. They actually wanted to learn. So I came up with a course, a mini training, a workshop. Then I realized I needed something in between um, DIY and we do it all for you. So we came up with an SEO setup product. So
Mhm.
there really is something for people in the wedding industry at all budgets, at all stages of their business, whether they're brand new or they've been around for 15 years. I've tried to make sure if people in the wedding industry want to show up on Google, there's something they can afford to make a step toward that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And did you talk about the boot camp? You have a boot camp too that's kind of like a training.
Yeah. So
So,
bootcamp is my
mhm.
signature course.
Okay.
So it is a 4-module course. I teach it live 2 times a year. And the rest of the year, it's kind of open for purchase if people go through one of my sequences. But it's awesome. It teaches wedding professionals how to do their own SEO. And for those who go through during when I teach live, they're doing it with a group of other people who are all asking questions they can benefit from.
Mhm.
So that is a super fun offering that I have too.
So you do it live, and then when it's not live, they buying what you just recorded?
No, I have recorded lessons for everything. So
Okay.
even
Okay.
when they're doing it live, they'll watch the videos and then we come together for Q&A.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the
Okay.
course
Great.
is
Okay.
recorded, but they're moving through it as a group and I do a Q&A session for every single module so that they can get questions answered as they move forward.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, just good to like I'm interested in like the different permutations of like how people can kind of do some different things. And I think that everybody's interested in different things as well. Some people are really into the trainings, like you mentioned the lunch and learn, like kind of just showing up and being present. I don't necessarily think that the end goal for everybody is to just have these products that kind of sell. Like I think people still want to be engaged with their audience, whether it's their
Mhm.
peers or potential clients. I think people want to show up in a way that is interesting to them. And then they also can, as time allows and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, cool. Okay. So anything else that we didn't touch on? Oh, I wanted to ask about the community because you mentioned, the lunch and learn kind of community. So do you have another community somewhere? Some people have like Facebook groups. It just
No,
is the email
I
list really the community?
Yeah, and the people who come to lunch and learn every
Hmm.
single month. Like, I've got my regulars, they're
Hmm.
always
Nice.
there. They're always pumped to be there. So, to me, that's what I mean by my community. I
Hmm.
decided a long time ago I'll never have a free Facebook group
Hmm.
because SEO questions are complicated
Hmm.
and it's hard to serve everyone well when they can ask you all sorts of questions any time of the day and they want an immediate answer.
Yes, yes, I can't imagine. But yes, it's just good to mention. And I think some people who have had communities are also shutting those down. Like, okay, are not going to do that. Are going to do that a different way now. I still think that building the community is important, but yeah, maybe not in that same way that we're
Mhm.
traditionally used to, hearing like the Facebook group. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not a fan. Yeah.
Mm. No, thanks.
So any other things? Do you have any other thoughts? Anything we didn't touch on that you think might be important? Do you have any thoughts about going forward? Like, what you may do differently or really anything else?
I think I've had a pull toward maybe making more digital products,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to keep myself focused because I still think there's so many things I could be doing to better market the one digital product I have,
Mhm.
the 1-hour SEO. And so to me, that's what I've chosen to do to grow and scale, not make a bunch more products,
Mhm.
but spend more time and effort trying to reach people and make sure they know about the product I already have. So that's
Right.
what's coming next for me, just more marketing effort to the
Mhm.
same product and making sure that it serves people well.
Nice. And do you iterate on that product at all? Like, do you redo it after a certain amount of time? Like, just revisit. Sometimes we do something and then we don't look at it for a while. Like, oh wait, what is that actually saying? Especially with videos. Do you have a process for kind of going back, periodically or not?
I probably need to. I think it's probably due for
Mhm.
another review. There's already been one full redevelopment of all the
Mhm.
videos in the several years that I've had 1-hour SEO. So I actually re-recorded them to make them simpler. I
Oh, nice.
simplified the workbook that goes
Nice.
along
Mhm.
with it. I'm a big fan of you don't have to add new things to a product
Hmm.
to make it better. Sometimes it's actually better if you take things out so that
Hmm.
people can get to the outcome faster. So I think it might be time for another simplification of the product. I think there's more things I could simplify from here.
I think it, like you said, getting people to where they want to be um, is so important because I think when we're thinking of creating something, we're like, well, I'll give them everything I know. And
Exactly.
all that does is overwhelm people.
Yes.
And so they're just going to turn off and they're not going to get anything. Getting somebody actually somewhere, and then, yeah, later you can get them somewhere else if they want to go
Yes.
somewhere else. But yeah, I think it's something that people don't think enough of. Like, let's just take one step. You don't have to take people 50 steps, just a little bit.
I agree.
So yeah, cool. Okay, so just to kind of recap, and we may or may not have talked about these things, but what 2 or 3 things you recommend for someone who's creating their first product?
So I would definitely try to listen to your audience. Is there something that you hear people asking you for? Um, I'm not sure it works to just say, this is what I wish they all knew,
Mhm.
because if they don't identify that as a problem, if that's not a problem they actually want to solve, then you're not going to be able to sell them a product to solve it. So I think a better way to go at it is if you have an email list, send out a survey asking about their challenges, or in some way try to listen really well to what you're actually being asked for. That
Mhm.
is something that I would recommend as a step one for anyone creating their first digital product. And then
Yeah.
just remember that you need to actively market it. It's not something you
Mhm.
just put on a website and everyone will be so excited to buy it. You have to keep talking about it. You have to make sure that people know that it exists in different ways, whether that's an email sequence or if it's just, you tell people about it if they just tell you they can't afford your services. You let them
Mhm.
know you have a digital product that's another offer. So don't be afraid to really actively market your digital product because you're probably going to need to tell people about it a few times before you can get them to buy it.
Yes, absolutely. And there are so many people out there. I think we forget, we've been talking about it for a certain amount of time, but there are so many people who have not heard of you yet. And,
Yes.
if you stop talking about it because all of those people maybe have heard, you're going to miss the people who just joined your audience or who
Mhm.
haven't yet, who might tomorrow. So, yeah, I think that talking about it is super important. And yes, and
Definitely.
validation, definitely. Yay, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, where can people find you online?
So, for anyone in the wedding industry, or if you
Mhm.
just want to check out what I do, my website is saradoesseo.com. And that's also my handle on Instagram and TikTok, where I'm the most
Yay.
active. And I would love to connect with you there.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for everybody. I'm always really excited for people to listen to these. I'm like, yes, there's such good information here. And I like to listen to them again later when I'm doing the transcripts. I'm like, oh, yeah. And they said that awesome thing. So I'm
That's
excited
great.
about it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad we could do this.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'd love to continue the conversation in your inbox. Email subscribe to hey@yfdp.show or sign up in the show notes to get bi-monthly emails about how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. Can't wait to see you there.